In this video, I'm going to take you through the full speed training routine that I've been doing as part of my 8-week training. So today I'm going to be going through my 12th session of the speed training routine. I'm going to talk through what I've changed to just give me a few little extra benefits, what feels I've been focusing on, what limitations I've found with the routine, and how that's impacted my speed progression. Something that I've found that's really helped me with my quality of speed training is how I prepare leading into the actual session. So depending on time, I've often found that when I've been able to just warm up with a few kind of basic pitch shots, more to get a flow and a rhythm in my swing, my hand-eye coordination, and almost just a carefree movement. I'm not looking necessarily to try and hit great pitch shots and a real practice session, but I'm just using that at the starting point to just get loosened out and get moving. Now I move into a proper physical warm-up. I focus on the resistance band warm-up. I feel like it gives me a little bit more intensity, a little bit more activation, ready to feel powerful in my golf swing. So now I've done the physical warm-up, I'll probably only have between 5 to 10 balls. That really just depends on how I'm feeling on the day and energy, where I'll just hit some irons, working from sort of a 9 iron down to a 4 iron, just to make sure I feel like I'm comfortable with where my speed mechanics are, and just get ready to work up into the driver. So I've just jumped up to a 7 iron, and like I say, you choose whatever club you see fit and however many balls. It's really just to get that flow and rhythm going. We're not trying to get too bogged down technically. I've now got to my longest iron. This is the last kind of couple of balls I'm going to hit before I move into the driver and start with my full routine. I'm just going to now start just to ramp up the speed a little bit, just to help prime my body. So this is kind of, for me, the best approach as part of increasing your warm-up leading into the main part of the session. So I'm just going to start my first set of the routine. This is obviously the 90%, the kind of playing speed effort. What I've done in a couple of sessions, as I've noticed on the course, sometimes little things get out of sync, especially when we're just doing speed training. So for me, I've put an alignment stick down just to make sure that my feet and shoulders are aligned to where I want them to be. And a key one for me is getting the ball position, just making sure I don't get that a little bit too far forward, and then that can impact my start line. So I've just adjusted those little things, but as I go up to 100%, I'll probably take these away because I want to just make sure I'm full intensity. First swing, 118, that already shows me that my stock speed is already up. Being focused on the swing biomechanics to help with speed, so it's not just me smashing it as hard as I can all the time, even though that's a key element. So what I've been focusing on, ball position, making sure that I keep the club in a slightly better position going back. I get a little bit more upright, so not kind of just going folding in and getting too deep and around myself and then just pulling the arms. So by keeping it a little bit more out in front, a little bit higher, that allows me to just sequence through the lower body first and get that kinematic sequence, or that kinetic chain principle that we know is so important to generating more club head speed. So now I'm going to move into the 95%. This is obviously something we talk about, that ability to feel like you're trying to give a little bit extra, trying to carry a bunker or some water, like if you're on a golf course. So you're still moving with the right technical effort, but you're obviously trying to push it past that standard tee shot fairway finder. So something I talked about even at the start of this process is the fatigue element. So something I've already noticed in today, even before I started this session, I'm suffering from a little bit of fatigue, a little bit low energy to a poor night's sleep. So I know that fatigue, in order for me to be building on top of those 90% number, is likely to hit probably towards the end of the 95 or early into the 100%. But at the same time, the training that I've been doing, the physical, the strength training, the power training, helps resist against fatigue. So hopefully that will all already be starting to show a little bit later into the session in a positive sense. So that 95% set speed wasn't quite as high as I've had in previous sessions, but that's always to be expected. Never a linear progression. I consistently was getting 120, but I wasn't able to break that. The timing wasn't comfortable. Fatigue, or the force output, definitely feels a little bit lower today, but I've been still able to keep some good speed. But now moving into the 100%, in order for me to probably maximize this session, I'm going to have much longer rest periods every couple of shots. I need to really focus on the quality of what I'm doing. But also I've noticed, and this is important to be aware, that on that 95% and even maybe the 90%, a little bit too technical thoughts going on there, and obviously want to get away from that. We want to be quite instinctive, quite dynamic. So for the 100%, I'm going to take the sticks away, and I'm going to do a few little pre-shot routines to just try and help myself zone in on what matters here. 122, I've got that speed to jump up quite quickly there. This is something you might gain quite a lot out of. We spoke about this in previous videos where we want that longer hand path. So for me, I'm just in rehearsals, just focus on trying to almost push and lift up. You see, I'm just getting that left heel naturally lifting, that feeling of going upwards to increase that length of backswing. And then the key is obviously trying to transition through the lead side early enough. I can really feel how my arms are out of sync today. That's why I'm not able to break that 120 consistently, because that's really just my arms moving fast. I'm not utilizing the ground effectively. So, you know, my 90% swing or my fairway find is pretty much the same as my 100% today. That is fatigue and also biomechanics. In some ways, maybe if I slow down to get my sequencing right, speed might go up, but we've got to be careful then to not actually deviate from the purpose of speed training. The quality of the session today is definitely not as good as other sessions have been, but like I've always stated, is we never expect a linear progression. The speed is still very good. It's still up from where it started out, but we've got to be realistic. We've got to do quality always more than quantity, and we've got to listen to our body, and we've got to listen to what the numbers are showing. So to me, a little bit of evidence that technically timing out today, especially now we're producing those numbers with a bit better movement. 125 shot there, as soon as I hit it, from a technical standpoint, felt different, felt better, felt like I had more freedom, more basically up 3 mile an hour at max effort, and that's my ninth ball at 100%, so technically maximum fatigue. So this just shows speed biomechanics, or biomechanics of your golf swing, are of equal importance to just intent or just physical training. It has to integrate all three, and knowing where your lowest hanging fruit can sometimes play a role. Getting the right information at the right time is essential to that. Little insight to what I felt there that might help you. Talked about this in some of my other videos, getting my pressure moving into my right side, my trail side earlier, and then that feeling as I'm moving into my lead side earlier in the downswing. So for me, it's almost like as I'm going back, I'm already trying to come forwards with my lower body. So that's a good sequencing tool to try if you struggle. Really good insights there on how the session can unfold, how technical, remember we're just looking at club head speed, but not so much ball speed, but how the technique biomechanically using the ground, those key speed principles, if they're not on, doesn't matter how much energy you have, sometimes your speed can be down. Something I need to monitor over the remaining few sessions, just to probably make sure that when I do my final couple of speed sessions, that a little bit more recovered, a little bit more ready and prepared, but sometimes that can't always be helped. I hope you found this video useful. Comment below, let me know how your speed's going, and if you're ready to keep improving, watch this video next.